welcome to Simply Math. This is Alan Ramos. And please, if you haven't done subscribing to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button and the bell button in order to receive weekly videos on math. Currently, we're doing algebra and trigonometry. I'm using the Rice University OpenStack book, and I'm using their book to guide us through the journey of mathematics. So, to start with, this is the third episode. It's all about exponential notation and the order of operation, or what we call PEMDAS. When we say an exponential notation, we express that a certain number, like a, can be raised to the power of raised to the exponent n. This means that n is the number of factors of a. For example, a raised to n is just a times a times a, and the number of a's is n. For example, 9 raised to 5 is just 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9, which is multiplied 9 by 5 times. Another example would be 5 raised to 3, which is equal to 5 times 5 times 5, or just equal to 125. So, this is how easy the exponential notation. It just expresses that a certain number is raised to the exponent, and that exponent means that you have to multiply the number by itself n times, or whatever this indicated. Now, let's go to the order of operations. When we say order of operations, we say that there is a sequence wherein you solve for a certain expression. There's a sequence that you need to follow, and this is how you should follow. First of all, evaluate first the parentheses, second the exponents, third multiplication and division, that is coming from left to right, and addition and subtraction. Let me demonstrate. For example, you have 24 plus 6 times 2 over 3 minus 4 squared. So since there's no parenthesis, we'll just go to the next, which in the next sequence, which is exponent. So we evaluate first 4 squared. So that would be 16. Now, the next one is to do a multiplication and division, since that's in the sequence. So, 6 times 2 over 3, that would give you 6. Cancel out 3, that becomes 2. This becomes 1. So, 2 times 2 is 4. So, 6 times 2 over 3 is 4. Now, we should add and subtract from left to right, since there are no more multiplication, parentheses, or either division. So 24 plus 4, that's 28, minus 16, that's 28, minus 16, as you can see, it's 2 and 1, 12. So the answer is 12. That when we have order of operations, we are grouping the symbols first. It has to be the grouping symbols first, such as the parentheses, brackets, absolute values, square roots, and curly braces. Now, second is that you evaluate the radicals and exponents and do the multiplication and division from left to right, and add and subtract from left to right. Now, we go on to our next example. So, I have another example here. This is another example. This is 3 times 2, parentheses, raised to 2, minus 4, parentheses, 6 plus 2. So, how do you do this? First of all, we evaluate first what's under the parentheses. So, that's 3 times 2 is 6. So we go to the next, 6 plus 2. 6 squared minus 4. 6 plus 2 is 8. So next one, evaluate the exponent. That 6 times 6 is 36. 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. 36 minus 32. That's 36 minus 32. That's 4, 0. That's so the answer is 4. Let's go on to the next example. So the next example that I have is 4 squared minus 4 all over 7 minus 11 minus square root of 11 minus 2. So what do you do is that you first evaluate the groups themselves. So we start with 11 minus 2, that's 9. Okay. And here, second one is to evaluate the exponents and the radicals. So radicals are considered as exponents too, but they are in a different format, just like this. We're going to talk about in the next episodes. So 5 squared minus 4, that's 25 minus 4 all over 7. Evaluate square root of 9, that's 3. So 25 minus 4, that's 21. Evaluate this first. 21 all over 7 is 3. So you only got 3 minus 3, that's equal to, so 21 minus 7 is 3. And 3 minus 3 is 0. Okay, in letter C, I have this number. So I have this expression. It's 6 minus absolute value of 5 minus 8 plus 3 times parenthesis 4 minus 1. So evaluate first the numbers inside the absolute values and the parentheses. So you get 5 minus 8 negative 3, 4 minus 1 positive 3. Now evaluate this one to positive 3 times negative 3. This one becomes 3 times 3 is 9 minus 3 and 6. So evaluate this first. 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 plus 9 is 12. The next number is letter D. It's 14 times 3 minus 3 times 2 all over 2 times 5 minus 3 squared. 14 minus 6. So we evaluated first this one. So 3 times 2 is evaluated first. 14 minus 6. So we evaluate also this 2 to the 5th. 2 times 5 we get, if this is 6, we get 10. So now we evaluate the top and the bottom first, because underline is the fractional part of fractional bar indicates a grouping. So 14 minus 6 is 8. 10 minus 9 is 1. 8 divided by 1 is 8. It's 7 times parentheses 5 times 3 minus 2 curly brackets parentheses 6 minus 3 parentheses minus 4 squared plus 1. So we evaluate first what's inside, what is the innermost parentheses. So this one. So 6 minus 3 is just 3. And minus 4 squared. So we evaluate still inside the parentheses. 3 minus 4 squared is 16. So that's 3 minus 16 is to negative 13. Now we also evaluate inside of this. 5 times 3 is equal to 15. So that would equal to 7 times 15 minus 2 times negative 13 plus 1. So 7 times 15 is 105. Negative 2 times negative 13 is 26, plus 1, plus 1. And then we go now to adding up this numbers first. So that's 131 plus 1 is equal to 132. I hope. Hi guys, let's try this number out. If you haven't tried this number out, try to solve it on your own. But if you can't, you can still play the video, but pause the video first and solve it on your own. Have you tried to solve it? Let's try to solve this number. So that's absolute value of 1.8 minus 4.3 inside of absolute value plus 0.4 times square root of 15 plus 10. So how do we do it with PEMDAS? So first we try to evaluate this first. We evaluate it by subtracting negative 4.3 and 1.8. So that's you borrow 1 first from 4, that becomes 3. 13 minus 8, that's 13 minus 8 is 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. Copy the sign of the larger number. Negative 0.5 in absolute value. Plus 0.4, now you can evaluate 15 plus 10, so that would be 25. So the next one is to evaluate under the parentheses or under the square value. So we evaluate negative 2.5 as 2.5. We just get the positive ones, and then 0.4 times 25 times square root of 25 is just 5. So 2.5 plus 0.4 times 5. 5 times 0.4 is just 2.0. And then 2.5 is just 2.5. You just add them up. 2.5 plus 2.0, that will give you 5 times 5 and 4, 4.5. Okay, let's try to solve this first. So we solved it by first looking at the multiplications first, and this one would go first because that's the order of the rule of PEMDAS. So that's 1 plus 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 4 is 32. 9 minus 6. So since this is a group, because of the fractional bar sign, so you try to evaluate this 2 first before dividing. So that's 1 plus 32 minus 35 minus 32, that's 3. 9 minus 6, that's 3. So now we could evaluate this. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. 1. Okay, 1 plus 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 1 plus 1 is just 2. Next week, we're going to talk about the different properties of real number. Thank you guys for watching, and keep on solving.